Irgendwas mit Bier. Something with beer. Special episode today, back in Hamburg. I haven't actually traveled anywhere nice recently, so we're not doing an episode where I brought beer. So we're kind of trying beers from all over the world. We have JPEG here, who runs Hamburg Craft Beer, who I follow, and where I saw that you were in Korea recently, and I love Korea. And we have Merlin here, the head brewer of Astra
Astra St Pauli.
Astra St Pauli, who is a New Zealander, and I am a little bit of a hobby Kiwi myself, so we're going to try something he brewed at work, and we're going to try something he brought from New Zealand. And as I was in California recently, we do have a beer from California. So let's get right to it. The first one, with no label, no nothing. I like that.
With the no label one?
Yep.
Alrighty.
Tell us what we have.
So we've got it's a fruit sour ale.
You have to look it up.
Sorry?
You have to look it up?
No, just
kidding.
Thought maybe you want to look at it because it doesn't have a label. So it's a Feijoa sour ale. Feijoa, most Germans don't really know what it is. It's a Brazilian guava, grows in South America and also in New Zealand. It's a autumn fruit, so in autumn we can harvest. And everyone has one in their garden, and you have it on muesli or make wine out of it or beer.
So it grows freely and everywhere in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, you got to plant it.
Oh, okay. So
have it in your garden. But and it's combined with Riwaka and Rakau hops from New Zealand that I brought back with me.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's just a 4.5% alcohol beer. It's really fruity,
Cheers.
A wee bit sour.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Oh yeah.
It's a hard one to describe for someone that hasn't had Feijoa, but I sort of go in directions of a wee bit of sort of apple. Sometimes I get a bit of pineapple or banana as well in there as well. But I think it's just a mixture of a few different aromas that guava. It's an odd one, but it's my favourite fruit from back home.
It's like a perfect summer beer because it's really fruity, slightly sour, not too sharp.
If only we had a summer here.
Yeah, fits the Hamburg rain as well, though.
And how many people do you have to battle at your brewery before you can make a funky beer like that? Or
No one.
You decide by yourself?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, can always do crazy beers, whatever I really want to do there. And Iris is she's also a beer sommelier. She does the media for us. She's always got some great ideas as well, so we work together. Pulled out some crazy ones out of the hat as well, like when I was telling you the Heilige Rasen, the Pils brew with a lot of lawn clippings from the football stadium. So it's a funny one.
That was a good one as well.
Yeah, do some funny beers. Did some with some hemp as well, CBD. So
How many liters did you make of that then?
I did 1,000 liters
Okay.
of that one. And it's just on tap, so that's why it doesn't have the label.
And only on tap in your brewery, or do other people have it on tap?
It's just on tap at our brewery at the moment, but I think Craft Beer Bar will be taking a couple kegs. They've asked for some. I've just got to get them over there. Yeah, and then it'll be on tap there. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's got about 200 kilos of that Feijoa puree in there as well. So I did about 80 kilos of puree. I put in right at knockout when the wort comes to the tank. So I let that 80 kilos ferment to also give it that bit of a sour, get rid of a bit of the fruit sugars. And then as a late addition, I put in another 110 kilos of puree just to pick up that fruitiness again.
Which means you can buy it here somewhere.
The Feijoa puree, yeah, I ordered it through a company.
Well, it doesn't sound like he flew 300 kilos over.
Yeah.
Well, it came from Colombia, so I ordered it from a place in Frankfurt, and but it came from
And how
Colombia.
many kilos of hops did you bring?
I brought 7 kilos of hops.
Okay, not much. Okay.
So that's as much as you can take on carry on. So I filled up a bag, pretty much cleaned out a hobby brew fridge in Christchurch of all of the nice juicy hops, which is cool. Yeah.
Nice.
And didn't get any trouble at the customs either with all these 100-gram vacuum packed.
Did they look at it?
No.
No.
No, they didn't even look at it. Oh, it's good. So we've got a bit of that in there, and I'll be brewing a few more beers probably end of this year and start of next year, and I'll use up the rest of the New Zealand hops for those.
This is lovely. I like it.
Cheers.
It's a great start.
Righty.
What do you got?
So now we've got the Inkasso IPA. That's a session IPA. It's
Under 5%.
It's under 5%. It's 4.5% alcohol. It's our WE Award winner in the brewery, so it's got a couple golds from Mandarina back to back.
It's one of your core range beers, right?
It's a core range beer. I think 2021 it got a best session IPA for the year by Mandarina, so I was really happy with that.
Cool.
Yeah, it's session IPA. It's quite slunk, it's quite skinny, so I tend to like my West Coast IPAs a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that a few IPAs in Germany have just got a bit too much of a malt characteristic, which I'm not that keen on.
Mm-hmm.
I like skinny and just elevating that hop profile. So we've got a whole lot of Mosaic hops in there, which is the defining aroma what you're probably going to get. Yeah, and then just nice long, nice long lagered and nice cold to get it somewhat clear.
Yeah, some.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Nice.
Yeah.
And again, it's in the 1,000 liter range, or is that more? You
Yep.
make more of that.
Well, I'll brew a batch will be about 1,200 litres of this, and I'll always have 2 tanks.
And how often a year do you make it?
I'll brew an IPA about once or twice a month.
Oh, okay. So it goes quite well.
Yep.
It's one of the beers that probably flows through your bar most often, right?
Yep. So the IPA, the Luden Lager and the Keller Color, which is like a Keller Pils, that probably goes the fastest, just because it's the most normal beer.
People tend to order the most normal beer, right? People who don't know.
People that don't know, which is fine. No, that's why I brew it.
Yeah.
It's still good beers.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Luden Lager, the dry hopped lager with citra hops, that will probably come in at second, and then IPA probably at third. Although I drink a whole lot of it. So it's definitely my favourite beer on tap at our core range beer.
And those you also sell at other places, right? Not only at the brewery?
Yep, so that's the bottles you can get at Braustädtchen, Fishmarkt. So he's got bottles of us there, and everything else online shop. Yeah, be a bit difficult to be in every kiosk and supermarket here in Hamburg. I can only fill 2 bottles at a time, so I'm doing about 250 bottles an hour, and I can label about 4 to 5 bottles a minute.
Are you alone in the brewery?
I'm alone, so it's just me. So if I was to deliver to 3 different kiosks, it'll probably be filling bottles. That would be my life.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have time for anything else.
That would be sad because your beers really taste good. So
cheers.
rather keep the brewing.
Yeah, I'd rather keep the brewing as well, but filling bottles is a part of the job. Until I get a nice new bottle filler. Then
Is that planned? Or are you thinking about getting
Thought about it. Yeah, thought about it. Still thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Still in that sort of grey area that we're selling a lot of bottles, but for me to be able to build a filling plant, I'd have to be selling a bit more. But then you can sell a bit more when you've got a filling plant, so it's all that circle.
Yeah.
That's 22.
What do you do first?
Yeah.
Egg.
Egg and hen.
Well, we'll see. I'll still battle it out with my old bottle filler for the time being. But yeah, so got a whole lot of Mosaic in there, bit of Northern Brewer, Mandarina Bavaria hops, but it's dry hopped with Mosaic.
Nice piney taste to it, but not too much. It's really good. I mean, especially for a session IPA, you have a lot of aroma in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
it's not like it's too light to.
Yeah.
I think sometimes session IPAs tend to be a little bit thin.
Mm-hmm.
Not enough aroma hops in there, but this.
Well, I've definitely got
Like
it's because it's such a skinny beer, being West Coast style. Just felt you have to level up the hops. You know, something has to compensate. Probably be able to use a little bit less hops if it was a more maltier beer, but I tend to like the West Coast more. Unless it's New England IPA, I like that even better. Which I
Good for
also have
today.
every now and then. It's good for today. Yeah, that's it.
And why is it dry hopped and not wet hopped or whatever hopped?
It's dry hop because I've got a hop gun, so that works well. And
Gun.
a hop gun.
Mm-hmm.
So that's for people that don't know what a hop gun is. It's
Like me.
yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's just a wee tank that you can circulate. You can connect the beer from the main beer tank to a pump that goes to the hop gun. The hop gun, you can open up the top, pour in all your pellet hops, pour in anything else you want in there, like the grass clippings for the Heiligrasen. I put anything in there that I want to get aroma into the beer. Close the top up, and then put it back onto the beer tank. So it's going in a circle from the tank to the hop gun and coming into the hop gun in two different directions, so that it's really has a lot of.
It passes through one time?
No, it passes through lots of times.
Okay.
Constantly.
So I'll constantly.
How long?
I'll leave it running for about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that will change. That will have the whole tank has gone through the hop gun about 30 times. Yeah, and so you're pretty much just getting all of the aroma of the hops into the beer. Yeah,
Shooting the aroma right in.
shooting the aroma right in.
Hop gun.
Yeah, and I mean I use it for lots of things. The last Senatsbock that we had here in Hamburg, I dry hopped that with I think 8 kilos of Darjeeling black tea. And a few bottles of rum went in there as well. I put lots of stuff in there. CBD, hemp, anything you want. Lots of juices.
Do you ever write it all down, Reinheitsgebot wise?
No.
And get a permit?
No.
Or just not worry about it?
Well,
And we're cutting this.
yeah. I don't worry about it. We're not in Bavaria, but also just the beers that aren't brewed Reinheitsgebot, I don't call them beer.
Ah, okay.
They have their name. This beer, for example, is called Merlin Sauerstoff. Nowhere on the label you'll see the word beer. It's a sour ale. Just keep it like that.
And in Hamburg, it goes that way. In Bavaria, it would be a problem, maybe.
We'll probably be getting the Brewers task force, the police. Yeah, they'll be complaining. But
you'd get a permit for it in Hamburg anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that with Kehrwieder, for example. They started doing that with adding coffee and stuff like that. So you need a permit for that as well if you want to call it beer.
It's not too much of a hassle.
Yeah,
I think it's like
okay in Hamburg.
$120 or something like that.
Yeah. But if you don't write beer on it, it's not going to be a problem. And I mean, since you're selling it at your bar mostly, it doesn't really matter that much. It's got the Astra branding on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
People want to try it, they're going to try it. Yeah.
Few of the special beers we did fill in bottles, but a lot of the time the special beers are brewed with fruit, and just because we can't pasteurize our beers, I won't fill them in bottles just in case that someone forgets to put them in the fridge.
Okay.
And they'll carry on fermenting. And so then we haven't had to make any labels for the beer to call it. Was it in German alkoholische Getränk auf Malzbasis? Alcohol drink of malt base. Yeah.
Such a beautiful language.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the Natsbock, you had that in bottles, right?
Yep, that's true. Yep,
Was that
so
the
it would
last
have been,
special you had in
That's
bottles?
the last special we had in bottles. Yep, definitely. And that was not Reinheitsgebot.
No, not at all.
But a few of the Senatsbocks weren't Reinheitsgebot, so I feel better. Yeah.
And for the 3 people that watch this regularly, we had a Senatsbock in California the other day.
No, really?
Yeah, I took the
Nice.
the Ratsherrn Senatsbock to California.
Cool.
The one from
Went down
this
well.
year?
Yeah. Because I asked Ian what did he want me to take, and he gave me the dry hop Pilsner and the Natzbock.
Yeah,
cool.
Good choices.
Yeah. All right. That's a good start. I will see what else I have. All right. Moving on to Los Angeles Arts District, Boomtown. India Pale Ale called Nose Job. I love this brewery, and I really like this beer as well.
You've been there a couple of times?
Yeah, so I was in LA in February and photographed them and found them and got to know them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was in LA from May to July, so for 10 weeks. And it turned out that it was a long walk, but a doable walk from where I stayed to this brewery, like an hour's walk.
Okay.
And so I did walk there every now and then. And as with brewers, usually, if you photograph them nicely, you give them the picture, you don't always have to pay.
Well, if you take a nice photo of me as well, I'll give you a 6-pack.
Awesome. Let's do that.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I'll take you on not the free beer, but on taking a picture for sure.
Cheers.
if a free beer comes out of it, even better. Cheers. So since I've had it before, I'm gonna let you talk.
That should be right in your alley. Not too bitter though, but still somewhat in the more West Coasty area.
It's definitely West Coast.
Yeah.
Liking it. I was a wee bit thrown off on the label that it said a nose job is built upon a foundation of hard water. For an IPA, thought it sort of threw me off. Just how we learn in Germany that hard water is not good for beers with lots of hops.
Okay.
Hard water gives a scratchy bitterness to the beer, although I'm not having the scratchy bitterness in this beer at all.
Not at all.
So it's
really smooth,
fruity, refreshing. Yeah.
Sessionable, although it's
Definitely,
maybe
yeah.
not as-
So it's mainly in Germany, the beers with the hard water, you make malty beers, things like that. But no, this is...
And I would like to point out this, I recently learned this.
Independent US craft brewers.
Correct. So they have a organization, and if
Yeah.
you remember, you can get the independent logo on your beer. And in one of my last episodes, we talked about that, like Budweiser could not get it.
Yeah.
And I think they said Samuel Adams was the largest brewery that is allowed to.
I mean, they started out as a craft brewery, so that seems legit. All right. Take a look at the can as well.
Go for it.
I haven't had a beer by Boomtown Brewery yet, I believe.
It's definitely very citrusy. I'm getting that a lot. I think I read somewhere as well that it had a bit of Amarillo in there as well. It's a really nice hop.
Amarillo, Citra, Gelena, and Nugget.
Citrus, yeah.
And what's the last one?
Nugget.
And am I right in assuming that you love when they say what's in the beer?
I love
Like
that, definitely. I'm a big fan of telling people what's in the beer.
Yeah.
Don't have to go as far as the type of yeast, unless it's a beer that you want to let people know what type of yeast you're using. But definitely the hops. I also, my beers always have the malt on there as well, I think.
Most of them.
I think so. But definitely the hops, especially just sometimes you can't always, not everyone is a world-class beer sommelier, and it's nice to sort of know, I like this beer, what's it got in there? Amarillo, Citra, right, I'm going to try and find some more beers with those types of hops in there and try those. I think it's good. And
I mean, at least with the hops, a lot of people that drink a lot of craft beer, they at least tend to notice, okay, I like this hops, I don't like this one that much.
Do you ever go in a craft beer bar shop and say, do you have anything with Mosaic or Citra or this?
Seldom, but what I tend to do is I do look at the can a lot and take a look at the hop profile to say, okay, I really like this combination of hops. I know I don't like these two so much, so I tend to buy the beers that I know I'm gonna like them, or I haven't heard of that hops, I'm gonna try it. So there's these two different directions basically. Either I want to try something new, or I want to drink something that I know I'm gonna like. So yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Especially if you buy a beer for like 15 euros or something like that.
Who does that?
I don't know, but you tend to at least try to find out beforehand if you're gonna like it or not. I mean, there's means to it like Untapped, but that still is very personal what the people are gonna like.
Do you use it on that?
For sure, yeah. But basically,
Do you read what people say about your beer?
Yep.
do you like what people
Great.
say about your beer?
Not all the time. Not all the
Fair
time.
enough, yeah.
You write them back?
I can't.
Oh, you can't. You can't contact them?
So Iris, our media manager, she owns the account, or she runs the
Okay.
account,
Yeah.
which is good because I think there was at least one night when I first got onto Untapped and I was reading through the beers and I had a few beers myself and saw some bad comments and I thought, fuck you, I'm gonna write them back, but I couldn't, so it's good. I'm happy about that as well.
I mean, you,
In theory you can, but you can't because you don't have the account.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, you can use it to your advantage, and you always have to remember it's a social platform. You're
Yeah.
not going to like every opinion that's on there.
And you're focused on mainly negatives as well, or what negatives pop out.
Exactly.
I should look into it again. I used to use it and then I don't know, for some reason stopped.
I use it mainly when we're overseas or traveling. I just use it as a map.
Yeah.
Where are the places? So I don't rate beers on Untapped. I'm not, my girlfriend does, but I use it to find out where are the bars, where are the breweries, and for that it's really good.
For me, it's a database to know what I like and to know what I already had and what I want to try. So I keep a lot of lists, what I want, which breweries I want to try, or which beers I want to buy the next time I'm at Braustädtchen or at Beyond, because I tend to really filter beforehand what I want to buy.
So, any final words on this?
Easy drinking IPA.
Easy drinking. They've definitely. I just read here 7% alcohol. They've,
7.
They've hidden that really well.
That's surprising, yeah.
I was,
As I said, sessionable, not at all.
Yeah.
I thought about 6.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would have said 6-ish, yeah. But 7?
no, that's hidden
Wow.
well.
Really well,
Especially for having a very light malt profile, so it's very light. probably mainly just used Pilsner, I'd say, throughout a good 80% to get it that light.
Yeah, it could have been a session IPA.
Which then,
But
It's very strong session, I think.
very strong session IPA.
but not having that really spritty ethanol aromas which you can get in strong beers that have a low malt, a light malt profile. They've done a good job.
Yeah.
Awesome. Nose job. Good job. And I like the name. We're in South Korea, which obviously, we're in Korea. We're in Seoul. This is a brewery called Amazing Brewing Company. And this is a Hazy IPA, 6.5% alcohol, called First Love. And pun intended, it was my first love on Korean craft beers. So I was there on a photo shoot, and none of my people had any idea about craft beer. And so I actually Googled this place, took a taxi, which was difficult enough, walked in and had a beer. And then I bought a couple, and this was one of them, and I fell in love with it. I really shouldn't.
So the label is quite
oversell it.
fitting.
I'm getting excited.
So basically, this was the beer that initialized that we talked about doing this.
Correct. Yes.
So,
Okay.
so that's what I like about this already.
Correct. And then the next one is basically me paying you back, so to speak.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
basically,
why did you travel to Korea to begin with?
Basically, what sparked my interest was my sister talking about, I want to go to Korea, and she's really into like K-pop, so that's what sparked her interest.
Right.
And I was like, okay, Korea, why that? Looked into it further, looked into food, looked into drinks, noticed, okay, we've got a really, really, really huge craft beer scene here. So that sparked my interest.
You even went to Jeju.
Jeju. Yeah. So basically, most of the time we were in Seoul. I had 96 different craft beer places on my Untapped list that I wanted to visit.
My production company did not know one.
and I managed almost 80%.
Wow.
How long were you there?
3 weeks in total, 2.5 of those in Seoul. So, we did a lot of bars.
It's quite a few a day.
Let's have a look.
Well done.
First love.
It's
a great country, isn't it?
Really
Was it
loved
first time?
First time
Did you
there.
see any K-pop bands then?
I did actually, yeah.
Cool.
We went to a free K-pop concert. So I said, yeah, okay, I'm going to join you for that. Went with my sister. Amazing Brew was one of the places that I visited with one of the guys from Seoul. So I wrote a lot.
From Seoul?
No, in this case, no.
Okay.
Just a blogger. He's an American who has a Korean wife, started living there like 8-9 years or something ago, and I did like a small pub crawl with him, like 4 or 5 breweries one evening, and Amazing Brew was one of those, and he told me, Amazing Brew, we don't have to go there.
Oh.
It's like, what? But I really want to go there, and I did not regret that because the people were awesome, the staff was amazing, they could recommend you so many.
Huge selection as well.
Yeah, a huge selection. I think they had 30 beers on tap or something like that, all their own.
Oh, wow. All their own.
And what they do, which is quite typical for Korean breweries, they do a lot of cooperations with firms, so like hotel chains or supermarket chains. And Amazing Brew is one of those breweries. And that is why they sometimes not have like the best... well, not all of their beers are like, for craft beer drinkers are not like, okay, I really want to try this because it's like a light lager or something like that. But it helps them to spread the name. And I also had a beer by them that was produced for a festival that was going on at the moment when we were there. So they do like a lot of collaborations, which I think in Germany we don't do that much, and it would help us to like get a lot more reach.
I mean, collaborations with other breweries?
With other companies, not necessarily other breweries, because with other breweries we have that a lot. But
And,
they do that with a lot of other companies.
I recently learned Hermosa Brewing did a cooperation with the Descendants, a punk band. They produced a beer together.
Yeah, I mean, you have that sometimes.
Pretty cool.
I think Sudden Death did like collabs with bands as well.
Right.
So you have that sometimes, and they increase their reach a lot with collaborations with hotel chains, especially with restaurants that have their beers on the menu. And so the scene in Korea was awesome.
They also love coffee. Did you check out all the coffee places?
Coffee places are amazing as well, and it's like you have to get a to-go coffee every time you go somewhere. It's like you can't just not get a coffee. A lot of the places, they are really designed to be photographable, to like cater to an influencer crowd, basically. Like you have that in coffee places, at restaurants, at breweries as well. You have a lot of craft breweries that designed their brewery or their tap room to be Instagrammable.
And you know what I really liked? Brewdog was closed.
That's true. Yeah, I went to a small brewery that was just across where Brewdog used to be, Soul Gypsy. And they do amazing sour and farmhouse ales and really good helles as well. And they're really proud of their taps because they have these Czech taps that you do across and not this way. And they also do like typical Czech variations with the foam.
Oh, okay. Wow.
It's starting to sound like the best craft beer scene I've heard of in Asia.
And it really blew my mind.
There wasn't much in Shanghai. I was there the other day.
Shanghai.
Shanghai.
I had
on your next flight to New Zealand, it's halfway. Make a quick stop.
I had a wee bit in Myanmar and a wee bit in India and also a wee bit in Thailand, but hard to find. Like, it'll be a small brewery run by an Australian or something like that.
I mean,
But
a lot of places in
farmhouse beers.
A lot of places in South Korea are started by Americans or Canadians. You got to say that, but so mostly like the people that founded the place had their base somewhere else in the Western
But
world.
they have the drinking culture there that
Yes,
they
definitely.
like these beers.
And I think it's arrived in the mainstream because you have a lot of couples coming there for date night and stuff like that. The women quota was really high. I mean, like 60-70% women at least. Which you don't usually have in craft beer bars in
Very
Germany.
sincere.
It's mostly the other way around, or even like 20-80 and 20% are women.
Weird.
But they're
Why
most
is
of
that?
the time, I don't know. But I mean, the place in Jeju I was at, Magpie Brewing.
Magpie Brewing.
Magpie.
Ah, magpie is a bird from Australia.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
we got them in New Zealand.
And they, I had like the full experience there because through Dennis from Störtebeker, got a contact there of the brewer there. And basically 2 days full brewery experience for me because they have a tap room there, they have a brewery there, and I basically drank every beer that they make there and ate everything that they have at the brewery. And got 2 brewery tours, one in a lot of detail and one just like a rough tour. And it's amazing. Like he took 2 of his days he had off to show me around the entire time.
Oh, wow.
So like the time invest was amazing. And at that time they did like a collab with Mikkeller. And was MBCC at the same time. So basically nobody knew this brewery from South Korea, which I find really sad because they brew the beers for Mikkeller in South Korea.
All right.
Like the 2 beers that they brewed there, they're not even Mikkeller, but they don't even show the logo of Magpie on the can.
Oh.
It's just the
Bit of a
Mikkeller
shame.
logo. Yeah, they just write proudly brewed by our friends at Magpie Brewing on it.
Well, okay.
But amazing brew. They have all these different labels on the signs at the taps as well. A lot of handcrafted stuff at the bar. It's really nice.
Do they also use sort of local ingredients? I'm not sure if they would have
Not so much.
right,
Not so much. No.
not sure if hops grow up that far north.
No, they don't really grow much of their own stuff, and South Korea is like a really import-heavy country. I mean, you notice that in every area. They import a lot of beer as such as well.
Would they use maybe a bit of rice?
No.
No,
They do in some beers, but not in this one.
not in this one.
So this is really straightforward NIPA.
All right.
So
And it's a good one. I still like it. I want to go back. You made me want to go back
You
more.
made me want to go there now.
That's really cool.
I've used up all of my holiday days this year, but I think I might need to be going to Japan and South Korea next year.
yeah, it might be a
would
good
not have
invest.
thought that there's such a strong craft beer scene, given that South Korea, okay, you've got a lot of Canadian and American people living there. It probably helped a lot.
Also Kiwi.
And also, really?
Yeah, Chill
Everywhere.
Hops.
Everywhere.
Chill Hops was founded by a guy from New Zealand and a guy from Australia. That's why their logo is a kiwi and a koala hugging hops.
No. We finally made peace. I'm happy.
Peace in beer.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Well, I think I need to go there.
Yeah.
Cheers.
It's a good beer, right? You like it?
I like it. Yeah.
have a
next
second
one
one
I'll
later,
have
so.
be on draft over there.